Okay guys, here we go with our video on representing integers. So when we're working with representing integers, guys, we first need to know what an integer is, and that's a set of numbers that include whole numbers, their opposites, and zeros. So I have a listing here of our integers. They go on to the left more and to the right more. But we can see we have our negatives going to the left, and we count going to the left, kind of the opposite of what you do for the positives. Okay, I'm going to go on to our first slide here. When we talk about positive and negative numbers and representing them, we have to know what words mean. So I have a listing here of some common words, so go ahead and pause the video and then write down these words, or you can write them as I'm talking. But some of the common words that you might see that represent a positive number would be gain, above, deposit, increase, rise, or raise. Okay, and then on the right side I have some negatives that would also represent or common words that represent negatives, and I kind of have them across from each other to see the opposites of each other. So I have loss, below, withdraw, decrease, or drop or fall. So those would kind of correspond to the positives on the left. Okay, so go ahead and write those down. If you need to pause, go ahead. I'm going to move on to the next slide. In our next slide, we have example 1. We're just going to write an integer that represents a situation. A gain of 12 yards. A gain was a positive, so that would just be 12. You could write plus 12 if you would like, but you don't need to put the plus sign in there. It's assumed it's there if it's not written. Okay, in example B, a decrease of 5 students. Decrease is a negative, so that means I would write this as negative 5. Okay, make sure that you write these numbers into your blanks too on your sheets so that you know what you are finding the answer of. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to example 2. In example 2, we have our word problem. Make sure you write 23 feet for above and 39 feet for below sea level. So I want to write the integers that represent these situations. Well, 23 feet above sea level is going to be a positive, so that would be 23 or plus 23. And then when you read on the problem, the rock lands at the bottom of the water, which is 39 feet below sea level, so that would be represented as negative 39. So those would be the two numbers that are represented in this situation. Positive 23 for above and negative 39 for below. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the last example. In the last example here, we have a word problem. Okay, goes to bank to deposit. So she deposits $195. Okay, which is a positive, remember, so that would be a positive 195. And then she withdraws 100. If you look at your list, withdraw is negative, so that would be negative 100. So I'm going to find the answer that's positive 195 and negative 100, and that would be answer C. Positive 95 for the deposit, negative 100 for the withdrawal. Okay, if you have any questions or need to pause or rewatch, go ahead. Otherwise, have a great night.